Women constitute half the world's workforce. So why aren't there more of them in the renewable energy field? Currently, the renewable energy industry employs 32% women, compared with 22% women in the energy industry overall, and the statistics for trans people are not available. A closer look at the available statistics shows that a majority of the positions filled by women are in administration, rather than in leadership or science and engineering roles, meaning major decisions in the energy industry are mostly made by people from a narrow demographic. The 32% of women who do make it in walk a tricky path, but many are leaving the door opened behind them for the next to step in.
My name is Christine Linz. I'm the Executive Director of GWNet, the Global Women's Network for the Energy Transition, an international non-profit association that I have co-founded with 3 other women in 2017, with the aim to advance the energy transition globally by empowering women in this space. We are convinced that if there were more women working in the energy field, the energy transition would advance more quickly, but also more inclusively. I studied economics at the university. My first job was in a regional energy agency in my home country, Austria, promoting energy efficiency and renewables. I then went to Brussels and helped set up the European Renewable Energy Council, an umbrella association of all the sectorial renewable energy industry, trade and research associations, working in close contact with the European institutions, European Parliament, European Commission. I will always remember that in the early days of my career in 1999, when I was working at the Renewable Energy Agency, I was attending a conference on energy efficiency in the western part of Austria, and there were about 100 participants, and I was the only woman. All the other participants were men. They were all in gray suits, and I guess they all remembered me. I had really a tough time remembering them all.
There are other challenges for women beginning their careers in the renewable energy sector. Because of the lack of female role models already working in the field, navigating the transition from university to the workforce can be confusing. As the founder and CEO of Sunbox, Majd Mashharawi has poured much of her life into getting more women into the energy and technology sector, through her commitment to hiring female employees at Sunbox, and by establishing a training program to develop business ideas for women eager to start their own companies. At the age of 25, Mashharawi has already established herself as a mentor to other female engineers and entrepreneurs to help them overcome the barriers to entering the field.
My name is Majd Ismail Mashharawi, and I'm a Palestinian citizen of Gaza. I studied civil engineering, and I did 1 summer semester in the States for business administration, and there when my journey with Sunbox started. Women in Gaza need mentorship. When I was starting my career life, I really had so many difficulties knowing what should I do. I got a master scholarship. At the same time, my business was launching. So shall I just continue my business life or just go for a master degree?
The very fact that the field is male-dominated can be a deterring factor for women early in their careers. And in many instances across cultures, the expectations of womanhood and motherhood may place limitations for their achievement levels.
I came from civil engineering background, and I remember during my college life, we were around 18 female engineers and about 180 male engineers. So this huge gap between the female and male in the engineering field was really big. And most of the female engineers, even though they study engineering, they don't work in this field because it's a men-dominant field. This is from one perspective. The other one is we live in a conservative community where women get married in the age of 16, 17, 18, and maximum 22. So once you pass 22, you are out of date. And so you have a lot of pressure. You have pressure from being an engineer and you wanted to practice what you love. And you have pressure from the community that even though you are educated, your life is about getting married and bringing kids.
Many women in the energy sector decide at some point in their careers to start their own companies, whether it's for the opportunity at leadership or the chance to solve problems no other teams are addressing.
So my name is Ifi Malo, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Clean Technology Hub. And this is a hybrid hub focused on research, data collection, enterprise development, and community engagement across West Africa, and slowly building out a lot of our research partnerships across the region. I started Clean Tech Hub, honestly, out of just a deep sense of frustration. And that frustration was predicated on three separate events that were sort of happening at the same time. One of them is, everybody knows the energy deficit in Nigeria and how energy poverty is a fact of life here, especially the more you begin to go outside of the urban areas. At the same time that I was grappling with this lack of opportunities for the young people that were coming through the door, because most of them were sent to meet me in my role as, the senior advisor to the minister on energy policies and partnerships. There was also the kidnap of the Chibok girls that had happened. And so for me, it was a question of how do I match these young entrepreneurs and innovators who are looking for a way to drive electricity and energy access into last mile remote communities and, help them get access into communities like Chibok where they could actually do these projects, help them create financing, help them put together their business proposals. And that's how Clean Tech Hub came about.
Due to the fact that only a small number of women end up making it into the industry, these founders often find themselves in charge of male teams, where their credibility is likely to be challenged.
When we started Sandbox Company and I was surrounded by men, it was so hard for me to manage them. I used to fight every day with them, just throwing my phone and hit the wall with my phone. I used to replace phones every month. Yeah, I was getting mad because they're not listening to me. They just want to do what they think it's good. And they think what I'm saying is sarcastic and I'm not serious. Sometimes I had to go out of my nature of who I am as a woman. I just scream like a man because they're not listening to me. It wasn't easy, okay, but it was possible. And it took me 3 years and I was very, very patient. But here we are today. We're scaling up our company to different markets. And one of the main strategies of our current approach in this market, in the Saudi market, where we're scaling up now, is to hire 50% of our staff to be female engineers.
While it's challenging to step into uncharted territory, many women have done so and will continue to join the ranks of the renewable energy industry. Estimates state that the current 11.5 million people working in renewable energy globally will grow to 42 million by 2050. With more women filling these positions as leaders, engineers, and administrators, there is the opportunity to bring the best and brightest minds to the energy sector.
It's very important that governments think about not just, bringing women as stakeholders, but appointing women to critical positions in their energy access sector. We've seen what happened when in Nigeria you had the first female rural electrification agency managing director. Became a lightning rod for investments into the sector, drove the mini-grid sector to what it is today.
And clearly, this is a subject which should not be only the responsibility of the women, it's also the responsibility of men to really support women advance their careers in this field.
Reaching gender parity in the renewable energy sector will require continued work from everyone in the field to make sure that there is suitable training and role models, so that the doorway to entry is both accessible and welcoming.
Yeah, so for women, I always say to them, don't just take up space, own the space. Just understand that power concedes nothing. And so when you're put in a position where you can actually make a significant difference, please make sure that you throw your entire arsenal into making sure that you stand out, because it's still a very competitive space. For the men, my advice to them is really learn to share space, because when we share space with women, we grow together and we make better and larger impact. The sky is big enough for everybody.